Before I start my presentation, it was really interesting to hear Mr. Dio, Mr. Sharma, and Mr. Samudra talk about green hydrogen and Technip Energies being one of the preeminent suppliers of hydrogen technology. It's really interesting to hear this. And as a newly spun company, Technip Energies, it's one of our key pillars of energy transition that we're working on globally and with our customers and for our customers. So that was really interesting to hear, and great talk and great insight by Mr. Sharma, Mr. Samudra, and Mr. Dio. So so let me go to my presentation. Let me know if the screen is visible.
No, sir. I can't see your shared presentation.
Just give it a second.
Yes. I can see it now, sir.
You can see it now?
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about the future of green hydrogen, but the present is still here, and we still need to service our customers and deliver projects that we've been doing for the past 12 months and into the future. So what does the future look like post-COVID? And that's my brief, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. Quickly, the agenda. As you can see, we'll talk about the impact. Like everything else, we learn from history. So I'm going to go backwards a little bit to talk about what we're going to do in the future. So a year ago, with the lockdown, COVID impacting globally, we were hit by three different triple, what I like to call a triple whammy. COVID-19 led to low demand, a low oil price, and many of our customers moving to energy transition. The demand was as low as 30%. Recovery is in process, but every time there's another lockdown or another event, there is always some kind of scale back. However, the good news is that within India, government, public sectors, private customers have been investing, continue to invest, and the industry after the first few months has seen a recovery. So you can see that demand has started to go up, both for motor spirit, LPG consumption, as well as refining capacity. So projects are being awarded, projects are there, but they're moving to the right. But there was significant bid and project execution opportunities in the last few months. So, as I said, we need to look backwards a little bit to go forward. And at that time, about 12 months ago, there was a pause in the activities. Quite a few investments were deferred, some were cancelled. Q3, Q4 of 2020 became critical. Some contracts were renegotiated. There were delayed proposal cycles. Projects shifted to the right. Productivity on engineering dipped significantly. Clients, EPCs, vendors, suppliers, subcontractors were all impacted. And then a lot of at sites, a lot of labor went back to their homes, and it was really difficult to get them back until the railway network started again. So the contracts, the EPC contracts that were already under construction were significantly impacted. Our response, and it's not just Technip Energies, but many of our colleagues and many of the other companies, EPCs, and our clients reacted almost very similarly. And the first thing we tried to do was to ensure that our people were safe. Our people had the ability to work from home, and we continued to retain the employee base. So within Technip Energies, within India, we tried to ensure that our permanent employees were retained, salaries were given, We extended additional support to employees that were impacted by COVID-19. Travel restrictions were imposed. Most things were done virtually. Microsoft Teams was a tool that we use all the time, ensuring that our site and yard teams were monitored on a regular basis, keeping frequent contact with them, and frequent communication on health and safety, and education on COVID and what to do under COVID circumstances. Our dedicated project site and site teams continue to stay at site to ensure that proper management and business continuity were continued. And at the same time, there were a lot of demands, rightly so, in the communities that we worked around, and there was a lot of personal commitment given by our employees as well as the company to people that we worked with and the communities that we were part of. Keeping employee morale high was a significant task. Within Technip Energies, we had many virtual celebrations, virtual town halls, trying to ensure that when people were working from home, there was still a connect with the company. And this was done through significant amount of town halls and just day-to-day contact and different celebrations. And even if I looked at LinkedIn, many companies were doing the same thing, and Technip Energies was no different. Work from home, it's a concept that we've all talked about, but it was not really implemented. If I'd like to say, it is something that was still talked about but not utilized. The key thing was revamping IT for us was revamping the IT hardware, moving from desktops to laptops, ensuring that our employees, when they were at home, had hardware, ensuring that the internet availability was consistent, and over-the-net telephone. Cyber attack, of course, was one of the key concerns, and we had to be prepared, and our IT departments were really prepared for cyber attacks. Confidentiality of data, both for our clients and for ourselves, was key. Seamless access and collaborations to facilitate work from home, and tools to support business as usual. If I give you some statistics from Technip Energies within India, when lockdown happened in March, our productivity fell down to 30%. And with time, with some lessons learned, we were able to get that up to about 95% productivity by the end of the year, and it's improving. And this was no mean feat. And really, our employees really came through, and our employees really were able to manage with work from home. Moving toward the new normal, formation of. I mean, the other part I would like to bring up is the continued importance of our response to COVID-19, and how we return back to our workplace. People were working all the time, but how did we return back to the office? We did this through formation of for incident management teams at an India level, at a local level. Technip Energies within India is located in 4 centers: Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and the Dahej Fabrication Yard. Plus, we have 12 other work sites around the country, and we set up local teams at each site to ensure that we had a uniform response to return to work and safe guidelines to return to work. We continue to have 30 to 40% of our employees still working out of the office. COVID awareness, mails, sessions, PPE kits to employees, mass testing, especially at our fabrication facilities where we have a lot of labor work, and our project sites. These were all part of our We Care team. It was really, we had to be prepared for the future because back in July 2020, we acknowledged that COVID will be here for a while, and we had to ensure that we were well prepared to open our offices as per the local government guidelines, local state guidelines. Our response teams set up along with strict guidelines of the office and the site teams. So all this prepared our office to be ready. Sanitation, social distancing, arranging employees commuting to the office. In many cases, in fact, even today, we do not allow employees to use public transport. We provide transportation for our employees to come to work. We provide UVGI filters in all our facilities to provide safer air, and we have protocols for employee safety. Now I'm going to go and talk about post-COVID for engineering, procurement, and construction. So we started the bidding and engineering stage. Bidding and proposals. A lot of virtual meetings, a lot of digital paperless submissions, and this will continue. And I think this is really our clients have embraced it. We've embraced it, and it's really working well. We often miss the personal interactions, but we found a different way to work. Minimizing site visits during the bid phase. This can be a challenge, and virtual tours have taken place. Clients have been willing to share basic data on soils and undergrounds. Digital proposal tools are being used. Within Technip Energies, we use various tools such as Excite to make for our proposal write-ups. And sometimes they propose prolonged proposal cycles. For engineering, we use collaborative tools for communications, such as Microsoft Teams. We've done HAZOP meetings, review meetings. We've held group-wide engineering meets with more than 250 people using Microsoft Teams. We've migrated a lot of our workings to cloud-based systems. We've ensured that we have much more stronger project management measures to ensure quality and productivity. And quite often, kickoff meetings with customers, key review meetings have all taken place virtually, and this has really been quite efficient way to do it. But at the same time, it's not always optimal. On the procurement supply chain, increased focus on expediting offers, bidding phase. Again, a lot of this is being done virtually. Remote inspections. We've had several projects, and I'll come to that later. We've had several projects in construction and in commissioning, and remote inspection. Client approvals remain a challenge. Some of our vendors and our subcontractors have a lack of tools and software availability, so we have to enhance them. We've had to continue working with our supply chain to enhance due diligence and the financial health of vendors and subcontractors. Paperless management of purchase orders. This is, quite often the system previously required physical copies, physical signatures, and customers and ourselves with our vendors, we've gone to paperless purchase order management. Strengthening the logistics network. And I'll show you some pictures later on that show the logistics challenges that have happened. And then after June, July of last year, suddenly the market started, and customers such as IOCL, HPCL, HRRL, Nayara, all started putting inquiries in the marketplace. So this has increased the activity in the market. Our interaction with our vendors and our supply chain, our subcontractors have been done virtually during the proposal stage, and this has led to some challenges. And the other thing is to maximize local procurement. Vendor approvals have sometimes been a challenge, but again, working through virtual tools, this has been overcome. As I said, logistics have been challenging. You can see this picture of if I read the sentence, 2.81 meters in diameter and 45 meters in length. Piece of equipment being transported to one of our sites in Sindri, a project that we're working on jointly with Larsen and Toubro. And this was a logistics challenge, and through COVID, working with our vendors, our suppliers, our logistics suppliers, it was quite a challenge to go through this transportation. In the construction phase and site work, the increased health and safety requirements were enforced. Medical resources, PPE supplied. We were able to tie up with medical facilities for consultations and have on-site trained medical staff. Mass testing of employees were conducted at site at our manufacturing yard in Dahej. Social distancing and quite often has meant reduced productivity. Even today, social distancing and continued requirements for COVID safety has lowered productivity. Getting a good labor at site continues to be a challenge. We are getting people, but again, getting qualified labor at site at various sites continues to be a challenge.
I'll leave.
Sorry, I have some interruption. Okay. Tracking our subcontractor workforce and their health, ensuring that the labor camps are being continually monitored and stringent measures are being continued to take place for social distancing and ensuring that COVID doesn't spread through labor camps. Frequent sanitation, enhanced housekeeping requirements both in the office and at site. Reduced travel frequency, less walkthroughs, less leadership walkthroughs, less HSC walkthroughs, physical walkthroughs. And what we've done is we've gone to virtual walkthroughs and have to thank our customers, especially the PSUs, where there's some restrictions where the PSUs have allowed us to do virtual walkthroughs for safety compliance. And we've also started looking at modularization approach, so minimize site work. Before I move from here, I mean, one of the messages I would like to give is that productivity continues to be a challenge. Safe work and continue to have safe work practices due to COVID. Our subcontractors quite often are smaller subcontractors. They have a requirement for cash flows. They have a requirement of money. Ourselves and our colleagues as EPCs need to provide our subcontractors with funds. The EPCs are incurring additional costs through this. Our customers are providing us extension of time, but no cost impact. So somewhere in the middle are the EPCs, where we have to continue to provide schedule compliance, cost compliance to our customers, and also to ensure that our subcontractors and our vendors continue to have cash flow to continue the work. So it's really a conundrum where how we can go through this in the coming phases. These are just some pictures of the sanitation facilities at some of our sites, social distancing. And all this, as you can see, it's not something that was done before, and all this comes at a cost. A cost in terms of schedule and a cost in terms of actually doing things. And this will continue post-COVID. I mean, until unless we find vaccines or we reach some type of herd immunity, these kind of measures will continue to be taken, and will have to be taken, and there's a cost to it. We've engaged in virtual HSE monitoring, and this has been quite successful, and we've been able to conduct several virtual tours at our sites, and we've actually been able to do some workshops. We've held engineering talks. We've held construction talks throughout India, with more than 250, 300 people at the same time taking part in some of these talks and some of these meetings. Just a case in point, within the last 12 months, Technip Energies in India have conducted 6 commissionings, all of them virtually, quite often without licensor support, physical license support, and often through virtual means. We've had the license supporting us through Europe, and our commissioning teams have been able to start up 6 plants across India through virtual means. So these are the 6 projects that have been commissioned virtually, and again, it was a challenge. It's a challenging environment. Our teams, the people that have worked on these, really need to be commended in the way they've overcome the challenges at some of these remote sites. So, as I say, as the title says, together we achieve. So clients, our customers, the PMCs, the EPCs, the vendors, our subcontractors, we're all on the same team. Our end goal is the same. We want to have a unit that's up and running, operating on time, on cost, on schedule. COVID has impacted EPCs directly. And there's an indirect bearing on cost. Support from clients in terms of project planning, budgets, setting correct budgets. Support from the PMCs again to keep going the extra mile to learn about the issues that EPCs are facing in terms of supply costs. Flexibility and support of new approaches using digital alternatives rather than in-person meetings, remote inspection, and the pandemic risk. A lot of contractors have taken financial hits, and we have been extended support by customers, especially in terms of extension of times. But the EPC contractor has been stuck in the middle, trying to overcome and to ensure that we're still meeting our customers' schedules, funding subcontractors, and at the same time trying to maintain our own costs. What our experience is in a 1-month lockdown typically leads to about a 3 months project delay. So that's the kind of rule of thumb that we're looking at. And going on in the future, we have to find a way to overcome this and trying to work smarter, trying to work more collaboratively across the supply chain, and especially with our customers to try and narrow this. If we go to another lockdown, how we can narrow the project delay and make our projects come in on time. So in summary, bidding and pre-award, of course, paperless bidding, virtual pre-bid meetings and site visits, virtual negotiation award. Those are happening. Those will continue to happen. Then we talked about market challenges. We've seen low oil price, customers moving to energy transition, sustainable chemistry, and the business is changing. But at the same time, we still need to look at our current business. Refineries, petrochemical. There's a move to petrochemicals within India, and there are projects, and so we're in a transition, but the transition is looking to the future, but continuing to service the old and the current. We need to continue to work at our innovation, our work processes, going digital, keeping safety in mind. Safety is going to be continue to be key at all our sites, not just COVID safety, but general safety of at working at sites. And finally, increase in our engineering, procurement, construction costs. How to overcome that and still be competitive, and increase project schedules due to lockdowns and procedure and due to lockdown and potentially future COVID impact. I'm hoping that the vaccines will be available and effective, and we are all free of COVID before the end of the year, and we can look forward. With that, again, I'd like to thank Jasubai Group and the Camtech Foundation for organizing this sessions. The sessions have been very interesting, and I look forward to any questions that anybody has. Thank you very much.
So what is the impact of COVID-19 on cost and schedule on new upcoming projects? This is a question from Mr. Milind Sawant. He's AGM with Burns and McDonnell Engineering India.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Milind. So there has been cost and schedule impact. However, there's also been a slowdown in industry. So there's been a little bit of a given at the moment. There's been a little bit of I'll say offset, but I think in the future you'll see that all this extra COVID protection, whether it's sanitization, whether it's extra transportation, extra vigilance at our labor camps, all that will have an impact, and it depends from site to site, from place to place, but it's at least 2 to 5% impact on our cost based on having the additional COVID precautions. Schedules due to the norms of safe distancing, having masks, having the extra protection for our workers has also decreased productivity. So I'd say the productivity has gone down at least by 25 to 30% at our sites.